Greetings and salutations, it is I, MLB. That didn't work, I should just stick with what I usually say. Anyway, here we are with chapter 78 of Serendipity, and this one is titled Yin Snaps. Let's go out for dinner, Deku said suddenly. I want to treat you. I don't fit any clothes and I don't feel pretty, you pouted. I think you look beautiful, he said, pulling back so he could look down at you, still buried in his arms. And look, you said, looking up at him with red puffy eyes. I can't go out looking like this. How embarrassing. Deku gave you a loving smile and leaned down, kissing each of your closed eyelids in turn. I just want to treat you, he said softly, the earnestness in his voice making you melt. Okay, you sung with resignation. Where are we going to go for dinner? Wherever you'd like to go, he said with a smile. I don't really know where I feel like going, you said with another little pout, getting out from under his arms to go and find something to put on. How about we go to that nice restaurant in town? Deku asked. Okay, you replied with a shrug. I don't really mind. I'm not that hungry, to be honest. But not even 10 minutes later you were starving and well and truly ready to go to that restaurant. Come on, babe, come on, you called to Deku, who was still getting ready. I'm coming, he called from the bedroom. You scowled and sighed, mumbling to yourself, Man, I just want to eat. Wanting to show that you were really wanting to get going to the restaurant, you decided to stand out the front of the house. That way Deku would hear the door open and would hurry up that little bit more. Happy with that decision, you pulled the door open and called back to Deku. I'll be outside, you called loudly. Okay, I'm coming, he called back. You stepped out and closed the door behind you, standing there looking out down the road. As you stood there, you felt like someone was nearby and looked around, just in time to see a photographer run away. Wait, were they here to take pictures? Did they take a picture of me? Was I smiling? No, I definitely wasn't smiling. Your face fell, even more than it was already, and at that point Deku arrived. There was a guy here, you said to him as he stepped out. I'm pretty sure he was paparazzi. Did he say anything to you? Deku asked, looking off down the road where you'd pointed to. No, you replied. Okay, Deku said, wondering what he should do. Don't worry about it, let's get going. I'm starving, you said, taking Deku's hand and leading him off down the road. You both had a really nice night together, and came home later than expected, then spent some time between the sheets, touching and giving each other some much-needed love before falling asleep. The next morning, you were up, making Deku and yourself a hot chocolate, when the TV clicked on at its usual 7:30 a.m. time, to the morning show. To your horror, they were running a breaking news report on you and Deku. Trouble in paradise? The reporter asked the viewers of the TV. Mrs. Midoriya and our favourite hero Deku might be on the verge of a breakup. Reports say that she was seen yelling at her husband before slamming the door and storming off. Pictures of you yelling into the open door of the house last night before you and Deku went out for dinner showed up on the TV. You looked awful. It was clear that you had been crying, and you groaned as they zoomed in on your face. She looks like she's been crying, one of the women on the panel said. Is it all too much for her? Has she finally cracked? I don't blame her, another said, especially after all the comments from the wedding. Comments? What comments? You thought, a dark look crossing your face. As you stood there getting more and more invested in their gossip about you, Deku wandered out, rubbing his eyes sleepily. Your attention on the TV shifted, and you looked at him as he looked from you to the TV. Don't watch this, he said suddenly, scrambling to get the remote. It's all bad. They all lie, all the time, and they never say anything nice. They had a picture of me when I was calling out to you yesterday, and they claimed we're on the rocks, you said with a sigh. We both know that's not true, he said with an annoyed sigh at what the TV people had been saying. Please promise me you won't watch the TV. People spread rumours all the time, and all it does is make you needlessly upset. Well, of course I'm going to be upset when they're lying blatantly like that, you huffed. But whatever, I don't care. You turned back to the bench and continued making breakfast for the two of you. You said you didn't care, but you did, and it was eating you alive that they were all out there lying about you and Deku, and there wasn't anything you could do about it. What gives them the right to say stuff like that when they don't even know the truth? You scowled to yourself. Later that morning, you and Deku entered the office together, and you noticed people looking at you strangely, then whispering among themselves. Deku paid them no heed. You gave him a little kiss goodbye as he entered his office, and then you entered yours. As usual, there were already a million messages on your answering machine, and you sighed heavily as you sat down and started listening to them all while taking notes. It was Heroes Daily again, pushing for an interview, and by the 7th recorded message you were getting pretty over them. In a hormonally charged fit, boosted by your annoyance at the news this morning, you rang the chief editor back. "Hello? This is Mrs. Midoriya," you said curtly into the phone. "Oh, yes, Mrs. Midoriya. Thank you for returning my call." "Yes, you've been ringing incessantly since yesterday," you said in a stern voice. "Yes, well, we would love an exclusive No! If you're going to be that persistent, constantly calling when one message is more than enough, then no, you're not getting any exclusive. None of you lying magazines and shows are getting anything from us. Why should we take time out of our busy schedules to give you information that you can misconstrue and use to make us look bad? Answer me that." The poor editor wasn't ready for a fight, and your stern words caught him off guard. "All I gotta say is Yin is a damn queen. You do you, girl. Go for it. Stay tuned for the next chapter, which will be chapter 79 coming tomorrow."